guys, Martin here. So I did upgrade the fish room a little bit, and what I've done is I've added a dehumidifier into my fish room. I think when you get into several tanks, multi-tanks, you'll need one. Let me show you guys. Here's the box it came in. It's pretty nice 70-pint dehumidifier. Let me show you what it looks like when it's on and working. So this is the dehumidifier in my fish room now. I'm still cleaning up my fish room. Don't mind the towels here. You can see I removed the big canister filter that used to be here for the 120. That the towels are here because these guys, when I feed my big fish, they spill a ton of water. So for now, I haven't figured out a way to stop them. So the towels are there. Excuse the mess. This is the dehumidifier. Really cool thing to have. Brought down my humidity levels at 40 right now in my fish room. It's been working for a while. It spits out warm air. There's a fan spinning in there. I have a manual setting. I want it to go down to 30. It's been sitting at 48 and going down to 38, but I haven't been able to get it down to 30 yet. Pretty simple, power on and off, manual auto settings. You can adjust the humidity levels. Some have a pump option here. This doesn't have a pump option in here, but it does have a side valve if you want to dump that right into a drain or something. But in my case, it just collects in a bucket. So I'm very pleased. This is the coolest thing I got from my fish room. You can see all my waters have been changed in my fish rooms, and Max is making a lot of noise. I'll show you guys at the end of the video how Max was helping me out doing some water changes. But just to go over again, I'm trying not to clean the bottoms too much. I have bottom feeder fish. They're doing a good job at that. I have all these automated power bars for water pumps, as you may have seen in the previous video. I just turn it on, water comes out of the tank right here. So I've been able to do all my water changes everywhere in every tank. I've moved a couple of little guppies in here, moved some of the decorations out, left the elephant here. I put my 5-gallon tanks to the side. I'm going to put in another 10-gallon tank in here for platies. I have some platies in here. One's a little bit sick, but hopefully he'll do better. He's fairly sick, but yeah, there's a ton of guppies and platies in here, like this yellow guy right there, this little panda platy. I really love this guy. I just got that guy. There's another platy there. So I want to do a tank for them. I just want to have a couple mixed, colorful fish. Nice to look at. 120 has their water changed. They're doing very well as well. So the whole fish rack is doing great. I'm working on changing the water in my other tanks right now. Still hoping these cardinal tetras get into a breeding mode, but don't know, haven't seen that yet. We'll see how that goes. Ton of guppy fry fish that I keep fishing out of the tanks. They're all over everywhere. And I do keep them for myself. I spread them out into the tanks. There's a ton of guppies everywhere. I try to put guppies in the tank, tetra fish, 2 betas, a male and a female, and a sucker fish to clean the bottom for almost every tank, except for these 2 right now. They're only getting, they're kind of just straight shots of the Buenos Aires and the Cardinal Neons. Otherwise, I moved some of my other tetras in here, some of the ghosts, and I think those are rose tetras. There's 3. This is the 20. Again, just a quick update. Molly fish are in here. I have a blue lobster in here as well in the corner. Excuse the glare. He's been in there for quite a while, and he's chewing on any fry fish that are in the tank. A couple tetras, black neons in there. Elephant tank's doing great with the 2 betas. That's actually a black beta female with a white male. I didn't realize she's a black female when I got her until she got into this tank here. She's pitch black. Really cool fish. And you can see she's got her breeding stripes on. She's ready to mate with this male. He had a huge bubble nest, but I did some moving around and I destroyed his nest. They have to rebuild it now. And I'm pretty sure this black female is going to mate with this white male here. I don't know what will come of it, but we'll see. That's the update. Stay tuned as I'm working on the goldfish tank next. I'll probably do another video or a live video on it. I haven't done too much in that tank, but other than move all the tetras out of the tank and all the platies, all the mollies were in the tank, I moved all of them out into my various tanks here. That's another 30-gallon tank I'll show you guys later. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole fish room. I'm psyched about the dehumidifier. Like I said, oh, there it goes down to 38 now, humidity. So, really cool thing to have. I have a whole bench here where I keep a fan just when it gets really hot. In here, a couple little extras from doing all these things, like all kinds of little attachments. So just a little side table. I have a whole bunch of shredded paper for my pet bird Max in here, so I might do something with this table as well. I haven't decided what to do here yet, but I might just leave it as a working console, clean it up a bit. Just trying to make room in my fish room. I'll show you guys the other side at some point, but for right now, this is the only rack I have in here, and the only tanks I will have in this fish room. Maybe a couple small ones on the side, but that's about it. But the key thing is you have so many tanks, and I'll show you guys really quickly. See the water, how it evaporates. And these were full to like quite a bit over the top black piece here. They were quite full, and this is just like one day of water evaporating on all my tanks here. So that's why I have to have a way to easily add water in and take water out. So I easily just attach a tubing here and pump water in through the tubing into the tank. And when I need to take water out, I turn on the pump and it pumps out of the same tubing. So the water pump in the tank, I can put water through it or take water out with it, which is great. So I have that going for every single tank. I love snails in the tanks as well. They are awesome. I have different kinds. I'm trying to see, these are like the most common snails you accidentally get in a bag when you buy a fish. And there is these spiral ones that breed like crazy, like this guy right there. And there's these other ones, and like all sorts. There's even this roundish looking snail. Those are the most common ones. There's 3 common types I found that come from my local fish stores that I just dump into the tanks, take them out of the bag, put them in, and I really see a huge benefit. They clean the bottom of the tanks extremely well. They eat the dead leaves that are on the plants or fall to the ground, to the gravel. They also clean the glass. I mean, they're nice to have. And if you have some fish that are like a little bit bigger, like these guys, or even guppies or anything like that, they'll eat them. They'll eat the little snails, so they don't really get out of control. But yeah, one more shot at my other male and female beta, and in this tank, for example, they're in with a colony of fish. So I have guppies in here, no tetras, just guppies, and the male and female. So they don't breed. Like these guys will try and breed a lot, right? All these betas. So you have to watch it, or else you have to feed or do something with all these fry fish. And just a shot of my male. He had when I got him, he had a really bad eye. He had a pop eye, almost blind. That's curing up pretty well. Seems to be doing pretty good with the eye. And again, excuse the glare. All the decorations in the back are there for a reason. They're covering up my water pump and my sponge filters. Yeah, so I continue working and breeding my guppies. While I do that, I'm working on better and better methods and getting better at fish keeping. And you can see from the beginning of my videos, you know, I've improved a bit. But these are just common fish, but at least the most important thing is to have the water quality down, to be able to change all the waters without you feeling like, oh my God, I gotta change the water. Like, no, I mean, for me, I have to do something because I am not the hardest working person, right? I do tend to be lazy when it comes to upkeep, so I have to make it fun for me to do it. That's my deficiency. So I had to like put in pumps. I had to like play with it to make it really simple for myself, right? So I think it's working. My water is super clear everywhere, clean everywhere. You won't see any algae anywhere. Plants are starting to pick up. I have all kinds of floating plants, from swordtails to cucumbers to different plants that they're doing pretty good. They're not in the ground. They're just floating. These swords are floating, and with the proper lighting, they actually do pretty good. I also have like with the plastic floating around, they kind of attach to it a little bit, and it gives them some sort of a mass, and they do pretty much a little bit better. Here, I'll show you. I do that in every tank. I have a bit of a plastic, and this is my cucumber floating. More sword plants in the back there. They'll just drop down the roots. You can see all the roots dropping down. I absolutely love that look, and I'm going to continue to do that. And it's great. It's a great hiding spot for a ton of fry fish. So I do that as well, and the snails get in there and clean off all the excess and algae. So that's kind of what's going on there. So I'm starting that up in this tank here too. I got these little tiny guppies that I think are really cool, and I'm trying to see what will happen here in this tank. But no air in this tank yet, and no air in this tank yet. These two are for betas. Well, this was for the beta. This is for the little guppies. So I put a little bit of cucumber in there to create some oxygen for them. They don't necessarily need it when there's just a few little guys. They can do without the oxygen for the guppies, but otherwise, I'm still thinking of adding an air pump into that tank, but I'm waiting on the 10-gallon that's coming in here. I'll do an update on that. And Yeah, I don't think I can really do a cool video on my big blue lobster because he's hiding all the time. But you can see there's still some fry fish here, and these are my what's left of the convict cichlids. So there's still like 20 of them in here. I put the lobster in there to eat most of them, so only the toughest ones will survive, and I'll probably use those for another tank of mine. So keep you guys updated on the progress of my fish room. Psyched about the dehumidifier. See, it keeps jumping up in humidity here as the water evaporates, even from the big tank, right? Like, look at the amount of water that can evaporate here. It's quite a lot, right? So I'm cleaning up the fish room, making room for more things, and keep you guys posted. Thanks for watching.
She's waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart covered as a gift, and hope that you'll take it into her side. La 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 la.
So here's the end of the video. One more quick little tip I'll show you guys, but before that I'll show you really quickly the progress on the 30-gallon tank for the goldfish. Hang on. Here's the 30-gallon tank. I'm draining the water out. I use my big pump, and I have some tubing that's going out. So what's left in here is cory, catfish, pleco, and my goldfish, and I have two minnow fish in here. I think they're cool. I think they're underestimated, actually. Before I move on to giving you guys any little tips here, the minnow fish, they're sold for like 10 cents or 20 cents, these little guys here. But I really enjoy them. They're very lively fish, and they're very cool. They give life to my goldfish tank. So that's pretty much it. Let me show you something really cool really quickly. So we are back at the fish room here, and I'll show you two little things I use. I have a pond Melifix, which is a medicine. I use the pond version for my tanks. I put about 1 millimeter, which is just a little bit of, it's got a measuring cup here. I put 1 millimeter into whichever tank I feel needs some medicine. Like in my case right now, this tank got it because of there's a really sick fish in there, and one of my guppies is not doing that well. So I'll put it like 1 millimeter, just barely enough. And about a day or so after, I use aquarium salt, and I'll just take a pinch. You guys would have seen this in my other videos. I basically just take a pinch of it, and I dump it into every single tank. This one has a mesh top, so I'll show you guys. I'll just dump it in here, just like that. And it's good medicine as well, and it keeps the mineral content up in the water, and it's really good medicine. And if these guys jump on it, that's fine too. But eventually it'll dissolve, and the circulation from the pump will kind of push it throughout the tank. They do require a little bit of just a pinch, and that's like a day or so. Let me put that in this tank as well, and that's just a day or so after the water changes, right? I don't do it right at the water change. I do put the Melifix in the same day. As soon as I do the water change, I put the Melifix in, just 1 millimeter. But even my guppy fry tanks get a little bit of mineral salt. And I didn't show you guys in this tank, I do have a male and female beta in here as well. And right now they're somewhere in the back, but they all get a pinch of salt. Aquarium salt. Not to be confused with regular salt. So apparently what salt will do is it'll try and neutralize a lot of things in the tank as well. And yeah, they just like every animal you would have seen, like a bear or anybody, or a goat or something, just licking salt rocks or stones. Sort of the same concept here. It's been about a day, 2 days, and I'll just dump in this case. It went around my leaves there, but yeah, and I do that for my cichlid tanks as well. For this big tank, I can put in like 4 pinches or even a couple teaspoons. I'll just dump that into my tank. But mostly I just do a pinch to help them out. and help the tanks have some mineral content in there. I think it's very overlooked. I don't think a lot of people do it, and they should. It's great. Let me just see what it says on here. Protects and heals fish, right? So it's like $1 or $2 or something, $3 for this big box and a ton of salt in here, eh? So I recommend it myself. As you can see, I use it in all my tanks about a day or two again after the water changes. So that's it. That's the end of the video. Good luck with your fish tanks, guys.